And here we go. We did it. It seems we're live.
Yes, we are.
This first incredible, incredible because of the list of problems we're gonna have. But anyway, so yeah, very quick introduction. I just wrote this phrase yesterday, so please bear with me. Welcome to Security Break, the live podcast where we stop, take a sip of coffee, and have a chat around security. Uh, was it good? I hope so. Okay.
Perfect.
And so I'm Giorgio, and today with me there's Fabio Zambrino. That is, correct me again if I'm wrong, an IT security analyst at the Swiss National Supercomputing Center. Is that correct?
Correct. Perfect.
Great. Sounds very fancy.
Wow, yes, exactly.
Maybe it's good to hear that in like aloud for once in a while.
Yes, it's good for the ego. Yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna repeat that if you want, like a couple of times.
Whenever you want during the live, just repeat it. It's
Okay,
fine.
okay. Great. So, oh, and there's okay. Um, so first episode ever of this like um new style. I don't know how to call it, like a new version of this podcast. First episode in English, and I will thank you like so many times, Fabio, for being with me in this first episode. But I'm just like too excited, so I have to find a way to go through this. So the format is like this. I hope the people that are gonna watch us live or watch us maybe later, because this same video will be re-uploaded on like YouTube and possibly also on like just audio only on Spotify or something like that. So I hope you will um, you know learn to understand that the format is like we just um, take a bunch of recent news related to the security realm and just discuss about it in a very informal way. So that's it. And yeah, that's really it. So I don't know, Fabio, do you have anything? Otherwise, we can just
Well,
you know.
that's a big pleasure for me to be here and an
Oh,
honor to be in the first episode. So I'm more than glad to open it with you, and I'm
great.
so happy you started it. I already told you when we had the first chats. Um, yeah, let's have a nice chat.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And by the way, where's your cup? Like it's mandatory
Ah,
in this in
I'm
this
sorry,
format
but
to have a cup.
the boss here didn't send the caps, so I
Go
just
go
have a
away.
button.
you're
No,
you're
no,
just you were just banned from the podcast.
you said during your sentence you said you drink a sip of coffee, but I don't drink coffee. So
Yeah,
I'm
actually, I
sorry.
don't really have coffee here, so
Okay.
it was
So
just
it's
to be
for me
fancy.
it's water or tea. So today it's water in a bottle.
Okay, okay, okay. Let's
But we
that
have
will be
the
okay.
nice cup here in the logo, so people can see
I
my cup
know,
in the
I
logo.
know.
It's fine.
That's okay. That's okay. And let's. I think we're good to go. So I'm gonna
Yep.
enable your stream. Thank you for that again. And yeah,
No
let's just
problem.
start with it. So, plop, plop. Okay.
Oh, nice view.
Yay. So we have a list of news. That I think they are all from the last week or so, something like that, and they are very different. That's on purpose actually, because we want to really switch between different topics and have a chat about different stuff. And the first thing is this one. So directly, I think this is like the official website from Netherlands or something. I don't know. Anyway, um, it seems that let's just introduce the news.
Yeah.
Government, the Dutch government, decided that from now on, for government websites, not for everything, but it's just it's a thing. The security.txt file is mandatory, or at least that's what I got.
Yeah, correct. That's what I also got. They will start introducing it in a mandatory way. So every national website will, so
Hmm.
official institution website
Like,
will
like
have
public administration, right, or something.
correct. Yeah, and in the article they mention also for business, but this I think it's still under discussion. They will have the security.txt file
Hmm.
published in the .well-known directory in theory. So they can
Yeah,
the
let's.
security. Okay, I
No,
was about to introduce it, but go.
no, I just wanted to like just be do a step back, and let's just briefly explain what we are talking about, right? Because maybe this is not clear for everyone. So
Yeah.
again, correct me if I'm wrong. I can definitely say something stupid. So basically, the we are talking about this file, right? This security.txt is just the name of the file that it's just best practice, let's say, to place in the um, root directory of websites, right? In order to be available for the website in the website. And this file actually contains or should contain the like the existence of the file is already saying that basically the company accept external like researchers or bug bounty hunters
Yeah.
to search for vulnerabilities in the website. And actually should I think it should also like explicit what's the scope, like what do they accept to be the kind of vulnerabilities where they can search for it, and also the contacts that the researchers can reach out to in order to say, okay, I found something, you should maybe fix this.
Mhm.
um, and it's all about, how do they say it, uh,
Giving information to reach. So if some ethical hacker or someone wants to discover something on public domains or mm, your domain published to internet, they
mhm,
can refer to the security.txt to send you the information, and this can contain the security.txt file can contain different kind of stuff. For example, also the PGP key, so that if
mhm.
people wants to share it in an encrypted way, they can send encrypted information. And yes, you can specify a policy, so you can specify which kind of mm, vulnerabilities or
Yeah,
threats they can send you, because maybe you are not set to react to any kind of vulnerability. As
yeah,
we all know, the security teams cannot cover every aspects of the security, so
yeah,
it
not
can be
only that, right? Like
yeah.
I'm thinking maybe it's better most of the time that you don't really search for DOS vulnerability, like
Oh
denial of
yes,
service, where you are
right.
just trying to shut down the website. Maybe that's
Yeah,
not really ethical,
yeah.
I understand it can happen, like you are searching for something else and maybe you find about another kind of problem, but I will say that most of the time the security team is not going to be happy if you just shut down the website because you're searching for something.
Yeah,
um,
right.
so anyway, that's the good thing, right? They will specify, or they should specify, what's accepted and what's not. And I was searching for a specific term before, but don't remember it, like um, acceptable disclosure. No, it's not acceptable, it's
um
ah yeah, anyway.
okay, we
uh,
I
yeah.
understood, but I don't know how to say it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
anyway, it's like the ethical way of searching for a vulnerability and reach out to the company to say, okay, I found something, and I just did this because I want you to be more secure, right? And I
Yeah.
want to help you fixing this kind of problems, not because you are trying to actually attack the company, or because you want to like ask for a ransom or something, right? Because you're doing this for the money. um, so yeah, it's definitely a good thing. It's been there for a while. It's not a new thing like
Yeah.
the file itself, but
Yeah.
it's so, I think, important that like a government says this is mandatory, right?
Correct.
um,
Yeah. Well, it's not the first one. I mean, it started everything from big tech companies like Google, Facebook, GitHub.
mhm,
Uh, 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 but also, if I remember well, the French government and in Italy also, they should have the security.txt already on most of the websites.
of course.
Um, and yeah, now the Dutch government, and I think maybe also in the US, they have
Mhm.
something because for sure they started putting it somewhere. But this is nice because I think that it opens to new ways of doing security because you will have kind of help from the community, and
Mhm.
you engage people to tell you what's wrong on your website instead of blocking them or giving them a reason to sell your information online. So I find it's nice, and many companies should start adopting it.
Yeah, yeah, it's good on so many layers if you think about it. Like it's basically free, right? You just have to create
Yeah,
a txt file. It's not a big deal, anyone can do that. Maybe the real work is about describing the scope. That's
yeah,
the big issue maybe. But the point is that, come on, think about it. You as a company are like hiring for free. I don't know, I know this is
yeah.
not a good way
To
to define that, but
tell it, yeah.
it's a yeah, it's a free way to have a free workforce to find vulnerabilities on your websites.
Yeah.
You are opening this like to the community. You are enabling researchers to also test their skills,
Yes,
their
yes. Yeah, yeah.
capabilities, and improve what they can do. You don't hear any background noise, right?
No, 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 no. You can
Maybe just a bit.
just a little bit, but go on. Don't
So
worry, don't worry. It's fine.
that's that's
We
the
can
point.
hear your voice clearly, so
Okay, I will.
don't worry.
Okay, so that, that's the point. I think you are just with a very small step, very easy step. You are doing a good thing on so many layers.
Yeah, I
You know,
agree. I agree. And by the way, if you're publishing
in a
something,
second. Okay.
yeah, yeah, don't worry. I'll I just continue to tell because I think you can anyway hear me. Um, it's you're publishing something to internet, so why not? So if you're publishing your infrastructure to internet, why shouldn't you also publish the security.txt file so that if somebody finds something on your internet-facing infrastructure, then they can also tell you. So yes,
Yeah.
it's a win-win
Yeah.
situation in my opinion.
If I have to put me like in like on the other position, right? The Some people, I'm not saying they are right, but some people will say something like I don't want random people messing up with my infrastructure, right? They're gonna create issues, create problems, and I'm gonna be responsible to fix those problems, right? But that's what someone will say, and it's just wrong on my perspective, right? I'm not saying that I'm correct and everyone else is wrong, but the point is that think about all of the pros, right? All of the good things that will be resulting of a so small action, right?
Exactly.
It's more on a global basis. The
Hmm.
point is that if this small best practice become like a global thing, like all governments will someday do this everywhere, this is going to be so useful on a global perspective.
Yeah, agree. Agree. By the way, that's something. So the security TXT file is documented in an RFC. So there is also the full RFC that people can read if they're interested, and they can have all the information. And there is a nice website to generate the security.txt file, which is
Oh, nice.
security.txt.org. So people can go and they have the form to fill it, and it will generate a simple security.txt file so that they have
Nice.
a kind of guidance on how to create this.
Hmm. Yeah, because they should have like be standardized, right?
Correct.
It's
It is.
better that any security txt files can be similar to any other one from any other company or any other entity,
Yeah.
so they can be easily understandable, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
So that's the point. It's a mean to communicate on rules to be compliant with. So it should be very easy to read, and that's a very good thing. I didn't know about the website you just
Yeah.
mentioned. That's a very
Yeah.
good
Yeah.
thing. Um,
I
Great.
had to work on that. That's why I know I know that there are so many resources online.
Yeah, of course, of course. Actually, it's been a while that I'm not responsible for websites, but it's actually the goal and the reason of this the podcast, right?
Mm, mm.
Me, I'm gonna learn so much stuff just reading the news and discussing with the you and actually the other people that are gonna be in the next episode. Don't worry, Fabio will be back if he wants to.
Sure.
But it just so cool that we can have multiple people discussing and using their different backgrounds and skills, competencies, and so on and so forth. So yeah, that's really fine. Mm, yeah, anything else about this news? Like
Well,
I think.
we can move to the next
Mhm.
because if there are questions, I don't know. Do we have someone in the chat commenting?
No, unfortunately not.
Okay.
But
So by the way, I
that's
got a message from Rob that
nice. Okay,
the sentence you were looking for before was responsible disclosure. Thanks, Rob.
responsible. Ah,
Responsible disclosure. Thanks.
okay. Yeah,
Yes.
thank you very much. Yeah, next time, Rob, just write that in the chat. Okay, don't be.
Don't be shy.
Yeah, don't be shy. Yeah. Just joking. No, it was kind of everything about this. The news just doesn't mention anything else. It's just about this new mandatory thing from government. And as you mentioned before, I think they're just suggesting to private companies to do this as well, but it's not
Yes.
yet mandatory for them. But yeah, it's a start, right? It's not
It's a
really
hope.
yeah.
They say they hope that standard will also be adopted by the business community.
Yeah.
So they hope so.
Yeah, we hope to as well. But anyway,
Yeah.
no, it's something. I really hope that other countries will just take this example, and I think they will do, because recently any new regulation about security or data protection and everything, all countries are just copy and pasting each other, and that's a good thing on my perspective, right? Because if you do a good thing, why other companies or countries shouldn't?
Exactly. And why should we always reinvent the wheel
Exactly,
if
right?
something works?
Cool. No, I think that's all. Thank you.
Yep.
That
I'll go to the
that's
next one.
yeah. Why
That's
not?
that's also interesting. You know, the Wi-Fi man, the new Wi-Fi man in the middle attack. to evade WPA3
Yeah.
also, not only, but also. And this article, it's created starting from a paper that was published, and that's a nice news. I mean, we always so Wi-Fi hacking is always an hot topic.
Yeah, well,
And
it was always there, right? It's
yeah,
like I'm young, right, for this field. But if you listen to the cool guys from the previous generations, they always talk about war driving and exploiting Wi-Fi networks here and there around the city.
yeah, and yes,
Don't do that, guys. It's illegal in most
yeah,
countries, but still, it was a thing, right?
yeah, it was, and I remember I was very young. They were talking about um, I don't remember if extending the range of the Wi-Fi or stealing Wi-Fi signal from neighbors with a Pringles
All
uh,
right.
package.
Using
Yeah,
the Pringles tube as a
Yeah,
like a
exactly.
antenna or something, right?
Exactly. So yes, it's always a thing,
Yeah.
and more recently they started using. So people started using fake access point, or to create the
Hmm.
the middle attack, they put a fake access point in the
Okay,
middle.
let's do another step back.
Yeah,
I will do like this in like every time in every
yeah, go
episodes.
on, go
I
on.
I like that we are really explaining what we are talking about. So this news, it's well, it's really, it reaches multiple topics, right? So we are talking about Wi-Fi network exploitation, and especially using the main in the middle attack. It's a very um, famous thing, right? It was used on many different um, scenarios and environments. The point of the man in the middle is basically be the man in the middle, right? So basically, like how do you say, like eavesdropping, like a
Yeah,
communication, being in the middle of that communication, so that you can read or listen to what the source is saying or writing, right? And then just you're reading that and then forwarding that maybe to the real target of the communication, so that no one's knows about you, that you are listening, right? This is the concept behind the man in the middle. And so this is like what I know, but again, Fabio, if you know anything
yeah,
else,
yeah.
just
I just maybe can add in normal. So in most known man in the middle attacks, people see is like I'm putting in the middle between you and the server, and I read all your data and I forward it to the server and I give you back, or we give you back the information so
yeah,
that you don't see us, but I can see everything you exchange
exactly,
with the end server. Or maybe only just for stealing username and passwords, I just create a fake login page
yeah,
similar to the one, and I steal your credentials and I forward them to the website, and then you continue your communication with the real website.
yeah, exactly,
Um, doing this kind of stuff at the network level, it gives you a lot more visibility on
yeah.
what's going on than only a single session. So you can see the whole traffic going through that router. Yeah,
Yeah, because we are talking about Wi-Fi in this scenario, right? And the point is
yes,
that actually, I think it's actually also mentioned in the news, but what usually was done like earlier about man in the middle attacks for Wi-Fi's is that you maybe set up like uh, an evil twin, or like how do they call, like a rogue access point. So basically you are creating a copy of your router, right, or of the device, the gateway that you usually connects to
hmm
when you connect to a Wi-Fi network. you call it like in a similar way. Let's say that you have your home Wi-Fi, right? And you
Yeah.
put another router that is called home Wi-Fi 1 or something that just that looks similar to the original one,
Yes.
because you want people to connect to your evil twin, to your rogue router, so that they think they are just connected to their home Wi-Fi, and actually they are connecting to your device where you are collecting all the data or the traffic that is being sent. And maybe you are still enabling network connection. So technically, users are still doing what they want. They're still reaching their final destination. But in the meantime, the attacker that is the man in the middle is reading everything, right? That's what it was done earlier. Um, and I think with this new, kind of attack that is described in the paper in the news, uh, this not actually needed anymore, right?
Yeah, exactly. You just you don't have to have an external device or something. You just have you just leverage the access point itself. So in reality, if I correctly understood, because I could be wrong, I didn't read the full paper, sorry,
Hmm.
but I understood that they're using the NPU, so the network processing unit.
Processing unit.
Okay,
Yeah.
yes, um, to to send fake ICMP redirect messages, so that then you're in, because the NPU does some um,
Optimization, like yeah.
optimizations. Yes, and yes, this will optimize the performance of the network and the connection to the Wi-Fi access points,
Hmm.
so that it ignores some kind of messages or accept them by default,
Hmm.
and then thanks to this you can jump in and being on the router directly. So again, I didn't went too deep in the paper,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
I will
me
I will
neither,
have a
right?
look at it.
Yeah, I mean, either, of course, it's not really the purpose of the format, right? To
Yeah,
be
yeah.
so deep in the topic, but we really, encourage anyone listening that if you're interested in it, because maybe it's not just something that you like, but if you are interested, just download that white paper and have a deep look in it, and maybe next time you will explain this to us.
Why not?
What I did the same of you, but what I just got was that most NPUs, so most of these specialized chips that most routers or network devices are using are basically vulnerable to this vulnerability that doesn't currently correctly handle the ICMP redirect, packets. Basically, ICMP is the protocol behind your, ping, the,
Yeah,
the ping command that anyone uses to find out if something is powered
it's a
on or
lie.
not, right? But in reality, it can do a lot of different things, and one of these things is the redirect packet that is basically saying something like, this is the new and best next hope, right? So basically you are saying, the next time you want to connect to this network, reach out to this other device directly, because it's the closer one, is the faster one, right? And since this again, this NPU just wants to optimize and do things faster in the network,
The
they just,
performance.
yeah, they just basically trust you, right? You send them the ICMP redirect packet, and from that time on, the router itself will say to the users, you know just contact this other device instead of me, because that one
Correct.
is faster, right? And the other one is actually the evil one, is the one that the attacker set up in order um, to listen to all the communications.
Hmm. Yes, yes. And in the paper, I've seen that there are some countermeasures or mitigation that can be applied, but again, it's quite deep in what we should discuss, and people can, as you said, people can read it in the paper or in the article, and I think that we will hear a lot about this in the next
Yeah,
weeks, months.
yeah. A very interesting thing that again is specified in the news is that this vulnerability for MPUs. First of all, I think it's it's an hardware thing kind of thing, right? It's a firmware thing, so it's by default it's something that is quite difficult to fix in the first place, but also on just applying the fix or the patch to the device, right? Because on it's on a lower level, and the point is that it seems that most of the network devices out there are vulnerable to this, and it means that it's not no it's just not easy that all of those vendors are gonna apply the fix or develop a fix. It is not that easy that all of the devices are gonna be updated, because maybe there are older devices that will be just I don't
Put
I'm not
in
concerned about this.
not supported anymore.
Yeah. And again, not every user is really updating their devices, so that's the point. It's so big, it's so common, and so many devices out there are vulnerable to this, that this is going to be there and be available, unfortunately, uh, for a long time, right?
Yeah.
That's the real problem here.
Hmm.
um, like eavesdropping the communications in Wi-Fi network is not new, but this is a new thing that we really need to see all of those devices be replaced by new devices um,
It get
before
fixed.
the yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
It's
so MPJ is commenting. Congratulations! This is the first comment on on this podcast.
thanks, Rob.
The Actually, I think I can do something like this. Yay!
Whoa.
So big tools and big technologies. The amount of vulnerabilities do gotta go fast approaches is astonishing. Yeah, you saw right. This is big. This is really big. Anyone really, any end user and or any company will and can be vulnerable to this. So it's on every level. Home networks are going to be vulnerable to this, or also potentially companies. And this is one of those things where the attacker just have to get a little closer to the network,
Hmm.
just
Hmm.
on the street. We were talking about we're driving first, so people going around by car and with an antenna on the top of the of the car or
Of the
something.
car.
Like previously in a previous company, for like I was paid to do it, okay.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it seems that it's still a thing, going around with a backpack or something with an antenna,
Hmm.
trying to see if you can connect from outside the building. That's the point, right? Most of the time you are really concerned when someone is you know um, entering the building that you are responsible for, and maybe using one of your devices. But what if the attacker is actually outside, just
Yeah.
outside the window? You
Yeah.
can see them, but you don't know that they are an attacker, or they are messing around with your network. So yeah, it's big. It's definitely you know a concerning thing, and I don't know why this news was not. I don't know. I didn't see this published everywhere, right?
No, exactly. Maybe because it's a paper and they want to see someone already talking about it more before, big news
Yeah, that's true.
websites. Sometimes they just wait. But anyways, I didn't see even, maybe I'm on the wrong channels, but Telegram, Twitter, I didn't see it going a lot. But I think we will hear a lot about this.
Yeah, even because I think the title of this news, of course, is a little clickbait, let's say.
Yeah.
because it's like how do you say it, avoiding VPA 3. The point is
Hmm.
that you are actually avoiding anything because you're on a lower level. You don't really even like the fact that the connection is encrypted doesn't bother you because you are encrypted in that network since you are the device, you know, that the
Hmm.
user is connecting to, you know. So anyway, again, very big, very interesting. I wonder why, again, no more sites or
Media
entities are talking
coverage.
about this. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm looking to hear more about this because what about there will be the first what do they call it, proof of
Proof of
concepts,
concept.
right?
Yeah.
So basically malicious software public and published that
Yeah.
anyone can use, but
Yeah.
you're a researcher, so you can just call it proof of concept.
Proof of concept.
uh,
Yeah.
and that's when even the people that do not have the skills to run such attacks can just download the proof of concept and run it anywhere. So yeah, it's gonna be big. I, I want to see if we will hear more about this in the next weeks or so, next months
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah. Maybe yes. Or maybe someone will present it somewhere like publicly on a stage, and then it will
Of
do
course,
explode. Yeah.
you have to go on like a DefCon or Black Hat in order to make it something you know big.
Big.
Otherwise,
Yeah.
maybe.
Okay.
Okay,
So
great.
I don't know
So do you think we
comments.
covered
No.
everything?
Yeah, I think yes.
No,
I was
we are
just looking if there
no,
were comments. No.
we are
Fine.
alone today, but
Oh, we're not
that's
alone. I see someone online, so it's fine.
okay. No, that's okay.
It's
This
the
is the
first
first.
one. Yeah, so it's okay. It's just a chat between me. It could be also a chat between me and you. So
Yeah, of course, of course.
we are
And
having fun.
anyway, for anyone that maybe again open the live, see the two of us and say, "Oh, I don't want to look at these two people for the rest of my Saturday morning." Again, this video will be re-uploaded on YouTube, and I should actually remember to run this thing right here, like this,
Yeah.
so that if you want to watch or listen to this later when you are more comfortable, let's say, you can do
Hmm.
this on YouTube. So no, there's still some chance.
Yeah. And maybe
Okay.
Spotify, if you're
Yeah,
able to, maybe also Spotify, so they don't need to look at our face at all.
exactly. You don't really need to look at us completely if you don't really like us, and that's legit, by the way, right? So
Yeah. It's Saturday
cool.
morning
No,
also for us, so we don't have the best faces in the planet.
well, I don't know you, but even on a Monday afternoon, I'm not better than this.
It's okay. No, I was just trying to find a way to to don't
this
push my
this is
ego
the
down.
best. Yeah, but my ego is just like that. It's
Okay, okay.
this is my best. You like me or you hate
Okay.
me. Anyway, okay. What do you think? Shall we move to the next one?
Yes, and the next one is something that we hear a lot around
Mm,
nowadays.
okay, okay.
Data leak.
Yeah, data leak.
So,
So we hear a lot about data leaks in general. Like today, like I have I have to do something about this for work, but uh, most of the ransomware groups out there today also basically always decide to exfiltrate data while they are compromising a network, and they also threatening the targets of the companies to leak those data if they don't pay the ransom, right? So we
mhm,
hear about this a lot recently, but this is not one of the most common data leaks that you could have heard of. This is actually, the data leak of raid forums. That if you don't know about this, this was, because it's not there anymore, but this was a very famous forum, I think, on dark web, of course, basically accessible via onion domain, so tor network, where mostly threat actors were sharing tools, data, and stuff that enable them to run even more attacks, and so on and so forth. So credentials, data leaks, malwares, and stuff like that. Of course, it was also, I will say that a third of it was security researchers, a third of it was um, malicious actors, and another third will be probably law enforcement.
Yeah.
um, the point is that I think it was, like, how do you say it, like, seized,
Yeah.
like
Says.
the forum was shut down last year, so it's not available anymore, and a series of new forums replace this. I don't remember the names. Something like breached or
Exposed. So
exposed also.
the
Yeah.
sites where the leak was found is exposed.
Hmm. Okay. And I think there was also another one. Anyway, it's not really important. The point is that uh, they were creating new forums to replace these very uh, useful for malicious actors websites in order to share those tools, and eventually a new one that you just said exposed, um, in order to start big. you know they shared a data leak from the old forum, so
Yeah.
from the very famous and an old forum called raid forums. um, and I think it was all about users of the forum, right?
Yeah. The in the article they say that some users are missing from this data leak.
Mhm.
Guess why? Uh, but most of them and a lot of users confirm to be on that database.
Yeah.
So seems to be
So
legit.
actually, you said something that I think it's very interesting. Uh, so they exposed, and they published this database of users that were registered in the previous form, right? And
Mhm.
most of these could be, of course, malicious actors, and you could technically use them to trace them, right? To trace them down and find them. And this is so useful for, well, it could be useful for law enforcement, but technically they already seized it, so they
Yeah,
should have
they
access to
should
it
know.
already.
Yeah,
They should. We don't know, but they should.
yeah,
But yeah, now it's public, so anyone else can technically analyze it and find something more about it. Again, in some countries, this could not be technically legal because it's still private data. But anyway,
yeah.
the point is that who published this say that some of the users were like removed
Removed. Yeah,
from the public leak. And the point is
yeah.
that if that's not already clear for everyone, uh, most of the time the people behind, like, the forum are always the same people, right? Even behind multiple of these websites. So maybe the law enforcement arrested, is that a word, arrested?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay, arrested some of the people behind raid forums, but probably, this is just a guess, of course I don't have like real information, but probably some other people are still out there, and they created this new forum, and they of course had access to the old database.
to the real database and not the seized one.
Yeah, exactly. And you know they decided to probably remove their own users,
Yeah, can
right?
be.
Because they are still safe and
Yeah.
at home
There
without.
and for sure some random user, because otherwise they
Yeah,
they they highlight themselves somehow.
depends on how smart they are, but
Yeah.
the point is that probably they don't want to expose some specific people that were running the website itself. I think that's the most probable scenario here, but again,
Mhm.
it's just my guess. It's not even my work to do like threat intelligence, I think, on that level, but it's just uh, so probable, right?
Yeah, and I see. So I was asking myself, why should they publish this kind of information? Because you can lose trust to the people using your new forum, but then at the end, uh, you also prove that you have real data, and you are somehow trustable for bad things, or for
Y-
what's published on your forum.
you know what I think? I think like in the history of the hacker culture, it was always about show how strong you are in your skills, right? And see let people see the vulnerabilities you found, let people see the software you developed. And in this case, uh, this is okay, not ethical, but it's the same thing. This is a business for them, right? They are gonna sell stuff on this
Yeah,
forum, and they want people to buy. And people to buy this, they want to have proof that you can actually get um, important data, useful data for that business, or you know uh, that could be used for other attacks. And you just exposed the biggest malicious forum out there. So
yeah,
it's really you are establishing your position in the market. I don't know, it sounds like really marketing thing, but even malicious actors are doing marketing, right?
yes,
um,
they need to.
so
Somehow
I
they need,
think
they
that's
need to. And by the way, Alpha Million is quite a lot, a number. I mean,
so alpha
uh,
million of what users or
users. Yes, yes. Alpha Million
okay.
published of published user data on an hacking forum. Let's call it. It was not only hacking forum, but let's put it under this label. It's quite big. If some threat intelligence
A
company will
firm,
start
yeah.
using, yes, will start using it, they can make good correlations. I think they could find good information and make good correlations.
Absolutely, absolutely, because again, for people who doesn't know about this, many threat intelligence companies are actually registering to these forums and interacting with people on those forums, because that's one of the ways they can actually get information about the threat groups, get information about the malwares, get access to the data leaks, and so on and so forth. So um, all of this is very, very important for companies as well that are selling threat intelligence services, or that they are developing internal capabilities in terms of knowledge about the actors. Because the more you know about the actors, the more you are capable of defending from them, right?
Yeah.
The tools they are using, the malwares they are using. You can develop your own tools to defend from those specific tools and malwares, or even just detection, right? I work
Hmm.
in the detection field, and the point is that always being able to know about the last attack, and
I've
so
lost.
that
Okay.
you can detect that you know where when someone is targeting you.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting to see that also the marketing strategies are there also on hacking, on the hacking side.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. It's just a business for them. right? It's not.
Yeah.
It's mostly an illegal business, but it's a business on so many levels.
Yeah.
They have a structure. They have operators and people like that are more concerning about the overall business. They have marketing people. They have technical people. So it's definitely like a company in most
Hmm.
cases, or at least it's also a combination of multiple entities, right? Because
Hmm.
it's there's always who run the forum, who is the user that actually publish the data in the forum, who buys that data so they can develop a new attack for the new company. So it's really complex. It's not that simple as it could seem to be. You know,
Yeah. 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 Agree. Totally agree with you.
yeah. Unfortunately, you have most of the time those. I don't know, still that image of the guy with the with the hoodie on a dark
Yeah. Yeah.
room, and
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. That
always like a young guy. But
young
most
guy
of the time
with
it's
with the
actually
black hoodie on it and low light and
yeah.
yes, but it's not actually that thing. And in the
It's not
security and
always like that, right?
yeah,
Maybe also that, but not only.
it let's say it's easier to or it has a bigger ego if it's a young guy in his room to do something strange and hacking big companies, for example. If you are a 15 years old guy hacking Google or even only a bug bounty on Google, then wow, he did it. He's only 15 years old. If you are 40, then okay, he's a professional already since years. It's fine. And
It's not that cool, right? It's
yeah,
cooler if
exactly.
you are younger
No,
and you have a
no,
hoodie.
exactly, exactly. Yes.
And
But
you should also have a mask. If you don't have a mask, you're not cool enough.
yeah, not Elon Musk, but a Musk. Joking.
Please.
Okay, sorry, 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 sorry.
And you have the second. Yeah, I don't know how to say this in English. Like you were alerted for the second time. The third time
Okay,
you will be banned from the podcast.
okay,
Anyway.
okay, okay. Uh, but this we hook to this also for the next news.
Okay.
That's about
Okay.
firmware vector. It's not directly related, but it's okay. It's something that can be misused. Okay, it's something
Definitely.
legal wanted from the vendor, but it's something that can be misused.
Yeah.
And here we are talking about the, as you can read from the title, mm, PC motherboards with a it's called firmware backdoor here in the title. The idea was, to help you keeping your firmware updated without you knowing it. You don't have to care about updates. You get the updates, and your PC will have the motherboard firmware will be always up to date, and you don't have to care about it. The fact that I'm telling it many times because the fact that you don't have to care about it means that you have no control on it most of the time, or possibly you don't have control on it. And this, yes, for end user is nice, for hackers too. There are so many ways that hackers can leverage this. Uh, if I buy the same identical motherboard with this firmware update, I can try to do nasty stuff using this automatic tool. But it's the same with it's an old story. It
Yeah.
happened also
Yeah.
to Windows Update. It happened to many other automatic stuff. And here is the always the balance between security, updates, usability. Uh,
You
People don't want to bother about giving up updating the machines, so vendors need to somehow do this without letting them know.
So you know what? This is a very tricky topic, right? So the
Hmm.
point is that I'm not into computer hardware that much, but I think this company Gigabyte, it's pretty
Yeah.
famous, right? It's
Yeah.
pretty big, and you know introducing like a software that automatically updates, you know anything. In this case, it's the firmware of the motherboard, right? It's the
Yeah.
software on the hardware level, right? um, and that could be technically by itself a security feature, because if you
Yeah.
are taking something updated, you are also patching bugs and
Vulnerabilities
vulnerabilities.
back.
So technically it's you know I will say that it's a good idea, right? It's
Yeah.
like as you said, your Windows computer that automatically finds and installs updates. Otherwise, maybe most of the people out there will never install any patches, and they will still have vulnerable computers out there. So it's a good idea, but the point of that that is explained in the news. So of course we always encourage you to read through the news. uh, the fact is that some researchers found out that this feature was really poorly
Implemented
implemented
or
and
protected.
engineered.
Yeah.
And so the fact is that, so again, you have the motherboard. Okay, so if you don't know, it's just the thing, the other thing that makes your computer run, right? It's the core of the computer functioning. And since I think they are building something for like the gaming industry, so it's like very performance related. um,
And I can say that this touches also high performance computing. So in the article they mention about high performance computing. So
okay. Yeah,
I know
it's
something
it's
about it.
it, I will say that it's needed for any uh, performance focused business, right?
Yeah,
I'm
correct.
thinking about I don't know, maybe that's more for GPUs than motherboards, but um, how do you say it? Mining cryptocurrencies, right?
Yep.
Or even AI today, they really need really powerful hardware to run. So maybe not gigabytes specifically, because I don't know about this, but in general, uh, you know, um, this is a very big business today. It was ever like like that, but today maybe even more. And of course they want to optimize their hardware, um, uh, every time more. They want to
Yeah.
make it updated. They want to fix the patches so that you can still use the same hardware without having to buy a new one. And the point is that, okay, again, it's good that you make it automatically updating, and we are talking about the hardware talking directly to something on the internet to download the new software. Okay,
Hmm.
and again, it's hardware, it's not the operating system, so you don't really control it at all. It's not like a process that you can kill on your operating
Exactly.
system. It's running maybe when you, I'm not sure, but maybe when you power on the computer, or even if you have like
Yeah.
power uh,
Connected to it
connected,
exactly.
can technically, I think, connect to the internet while the computer is even shut down. I'm not sure in
Mm.
this case, but technically it can be like that.
It can
And
happen. Yeah.
what the researchers found is that this connection, okay, this connection from the motherboard to the server from the company, uh, does not implement any authentication, okay, and does not implement any encryption. So
Encryption.
there are
Yes.
two very big issues here, right?
Mm-mm. Yep.
So
Yep.
it means that you can connect to anything. Like again, we talked about man in the middle first,
Yeah,
right?
I was exactly there to hook.
I can set up my update server that looks like the one that the mother wants to connect to, right? Because it doesn't require any authentication. So if it does look like the legitimate one, you can download my software instead of the one that the company is developing. And maybe my software will again, my as the attacker, um, maybe will contain some malware, something that will run on a hardware level, so that it can actually avoid any control or any security measure that you have on operating system level. Okay.
Hmm.
And eventually I can also just listen to the communication, because it's not encrypted, it's in clear text. So if I have the a way to actually connect to that network, of course, um, where the update is going on, I can potentially listen to it and maybe replace on the fly the file that you are downloading. There are so many ways you can you
Yeah,
can
yeah, yeah.
exploit this.
But even if I'm in the same network, or if I'm able to get in the same network, um, uh, let's put the case that you have like not only one single PC but 200 PC with some gigabyte motherboards, and I'm able to control the DNS in that
Mhm.
network. How do you see it? So
Yeah,
let's say they said they thought about, we use DNS, so we are sure that you always reach us. We change IPs, we change pods that stores the firmware you need, but you always reach us. And I'm able to change the DNS in that network, or where the motherboard points. I can give you a lot of ideas of what can be put on the motherboard. And again, a motherboard is not a PC. It's a so low level that it's an IoT almost.
yeah, yeah.
It
It's
can be, yeah. It's an Internet of Things device. So with a lot of power,
mhm. Yeah, because
what
it's
can be done?
it's an IoT device, but it's like below your computer, right? So it's
Exactly.
enabling your computer to work. So anything that
Yeah,
is
and
running on top of the motherboard, potentially you have control. That, like, of course, we are guessing. We are,
yes, yes, yes.
um, but
I think this is also the article also is a big guess, because it's everything potential.
mhm.
It's concrete, but potentially can happen that someone use this. Maybe this firmware updater will the next update will be to put encryption in it. I don't know. So tonight, all the gigabyte motherboards will get this update, and the
I
encryption of
hope
the
so.
traffic will be
I
done.
hope so.
Or they put credentials somehow, because certificate exchanges or something. No idea, but I see a lot of misuses. But again, it was something meant to be nice to the user,
Mhm.
no? And
So if I'm not wrong, if I remember correctly, the article, it also specify that there's like a feature
mhm,
in the feature,
yeah,
uh, that where you can technically. So let me try to phrase this correctly. Um, the motherboard will look at a local server to find the update, in
yes,
case you have like you are in a company environment, like you mentioned before, you have multiple of those motherboards in the same network, and you want to centralize everything on a local I don't know, network storage, instead of having that to connect to the internet, maybe because some companies cannot really connect to the internet, right?
yeah,
If they are like air gapped. um, so again, you don't really have to replace the server on the internet. You can just set up a local um
copy of the repository,
yeah, yeah.
or repository, yeah,
So it's really so vulnerable on so
yeah,
many levels, on so many aspects. There are so many ways it can technically be exploited, and gives you, if you exploit this, it gives you so much power,
power,
potentially, right? It's like I think the correct term is a rootkit, right? So
yeah,
that kind of malware where you are exploiting the device on a low level, so be even below the operating system, so that any security feature of the operating system or installed on the computer system cannot really do anything about it, right? Because you have your computer that power on, and you
Hmm.
have a list of softwares that run one next to the other, and there are a bunch of those softwares that run even before the actual operating system, and all the antiviruses and EDRs and other stuff that you install on the operating system. So really enables you to do whatever you want on
Yes,
the server that you
yeah,
compromise, right?
you get full
Um,
control from the very bottom of the sequence. You are root in the worst place you can be root from a security perspective.
yeah, for all the people, you are root when you are the most privileged user in a system, right?
Yeah,
So root is like the most powerful account in a system. So that's what Fabio means here, and you are so right. You're even more than root technically. Root is on the operating system. You're even
exactly. You are,
lower.
yeah, yeah,
You're God.
you can, yeah, exactly. And you're God. You can do, because think what the motherboard does. I mean,
Mhm.
you have all the hardware communication going through the motherboard. In normal PCs or servers, you have also disks inside the motherboard. It's also connected to the motherboard, so you can even control what can go on that channel,
Yeah,
in which
technically you
frequency.
absolutely. Technically you can just have direct access to the data on the storage, right, without having again to pass from the through the to the operating system, because the most of the time you have all the um, uh, hard disks and everything connected to the motherboard, right? If you
Yeah,
know the hardware of a computer, you have this core board where you connect all the individual devices and external devices. Even if you put in like a thumb drive, a USB drive into your computer, you are most of the time again connecting it directly to the motherboard.
yeah,
So if you are in there, if you have control of that motherboard, anything attached to it, and most of the time it's everything,
yeah.
you can have control of that. So now I don't know, like, if Gigabyte is just for like desktop and clients, or they also do
No, no,
hardware
they
for
also
servers.
do. Yeah, yeah, they do for servers, for high performance computers, for uh,
Wow.
any computer style device.
Yeah, that's big. That's so big.
Yes, and
You know.
in the article they talk about uh, 300 models, yeah, 271 models of Gigabyte
Whoa.
affected. So 271 models of motherboards. It's a lot of generations. By the way, we are talking about what bad can be done on in in this sense, but in company environments, it's very difficult to
Mhm.
do everything this all the stuff we mentioned, because if you are at the level of changing DNS or going uh, to man in the middle in this kind of processes, you are very far, and you will
Of
try
course.
many things before going to this. But for the end users, this potentially can be quite different, because at home you don't have the same protections you have in an office where you have mm, teams behind the
Hmm.
security or the engineering of the infrastructure. So it's we are very far from having something to use the motherboards maybe, but it's something that we should keep in mind, and sometime also look around if we want to buy something, if there is um, some vulnerability also on the hardware we buy, and not only on the software, because we tend to look at vulnerabilities
Yeah,
also only on software, on the software side.
yeah, and you're so right. Like this is involving both end users, like just normal people at their home and companies. And the problem is that, of course, most of the people out there are not really concerned about security at all in general, right? You say that we concerned about software, no doubt, but most of the people out there do not concern at all about software
Yeah, yeah,
either,
exactly.
right?
Yeah, yeah. I was talking
And
more
this
on
is
the security, yeah, yeah, security professional side.
no, no, you're
Yeah, yeah,
right. You're right. Okay, and that's true for me, for example, right?
yeah,
I, you know, think of myself to be tech savvy and to think about my security, but most of the time I don't really look at all individual, hardware of my laptop to see if
yeah.
they
Come
are,
on.
updated or everything, and that's especially true. Again, I'm thinking about the gaming industry where people are building their own um,
PC.
computers to be powerful, and the point is that most of the time you have a certain budget, right? If you want the most secure or the most powerful thing, you have to pay more, but maybe some people cannot afford that, right? So they just choose maybe gigabyte. I don't know if gigabytes is it's cheap, but um, you choose about specific model because you can afford that one. And when you do that, reasoning, that process of deciding which device you want to buy, you do not think as the first thing at how secure is that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And for such device, for so important piece of hardware, in that case you actually should,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
It's
yeah. It's the about this. It's in my opinion the discussion that we have in our current way somehow because, for example, security cameras.
hmm
We have tons of security cameras published. So not published, using internet connections and
exposed,
using
right?
yes, exposed. Thanks. So, how many people are looking at if the camera is somehow vulnerable or um,
Configured
if
to
there is
do
a
to be secure, right?
yeah, if it's a security camera, if the security camera is secure. So,
Yeah, no, that's true. But this is a very like big topic, and
mm,
we could technically jump to any other kind of device that today we are buying
yeah,
with IoT and anything that is connected to the internet today. Even you cannot really buy a TV without it being actually a computer connected to the internet and everything. So it's a very big discussion, very very interesting. But we have a couple of other news to talk about, right?
yes, we have. But first,
One last
I
thing,
want
right?
to ask you. No, I want to ask you one thing. You talked about EDRs and antiviruses.
Hmm.
You know, it's in the title of the live.
Yeah,
We will talk about EDR evasions. But
of course.
what's an EDR and why will we talk about EDRs?
Right. No, you're so right. That's true. I mentioned, and like when I was talking about security controls and security software installed on the computer, right? And the fact that if you have access on a lower level, even before the operating system, anything installed in the operating system, most of the time, and most of those tools can do anything. And I was talking about EDR, so I think it's like a endpoint detection and response. That's the acronym, and that's today, I will say most used tools, at least in companies. It's like the evolution, if we want to, um, the evolution of antiviruses, right? It's a software, like we usually say, an agent installed in the computer, right? That is monitoring all activities in the computer to find out about malicious stuff. Not only viruses and malwares, but even just operations, behaviors, single commands that the user or any other software um, on the client is doing, and if they look like a known malicious attack, right? So that's the state of the art thing on
Hmm.
endpoint security most of the time. And this news that we just spoke about, it's probably, if you exploit that kind of vulnerability on the motherboard, you are already evading it, right? Because
Yes.
I'm not really like into EDRs, but most of the time I don't think you have any visibility on what's happening on a low level, on a hardware level. But actually, it's really important that you mention it, because this is not the reason why we put this in the title, right? Because we have another news that is even more focused on that topic.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Um, the last one, is this is the last one, right?
Yes, is the last one. Yes, this is
Cool,
the
cool,
last one.
cool. Okay.
And it's
Um,
we will talk about it, I think, for the rest of the time we have,
yeah.
because the EDR topic and antivirus topic, it's difficult somehow,
Hmm.
deep, but we'll cover a lot. So we can span from on many different levels, because as you said, if you go to the motherboard level, you can evade quite easily everything. So you can also boot potentially another operating system and not the one installed on the hard disk of the machine. But most of mainly companies are using EDRs to centrally store information about what happens on machines, on PCs, and servers maybe. Um, but antiviruses are, since the very beginning of internet, are spread
I think
to,
those are actually the start of the computer security industry, right?
yeah, I think,
Before the business, like any business you have today, before the work we are doing today,
yeah,
there were companies just selling antiviruses.
yeah, yeah, and it was quite difficult. So antivirus, it's always a difficult topic. I'm no more on it because I'm mainly on other platforms. So
Hmm.
antiviruses are just an overhead somehow, um, and we avoid to have overheads. We place them in particular cases, maybe as devices, or to check the machines from outside, so with agents,
Okay.
like EDRs, but we don't use on many machines. We don't use EDRs. So
Interesting.
I'm
Interesting.
I'm not on it daily, let's say.
Hmm.
But EDRs can see everything, but from when the computer starts, so, or from when the agent starts.
Exactly.
So they can place at the very beginning of the computer boot, and they can see almost everything because they are admin of the machine. So you need to grant admin rights to the machine. And yes, if you're able, if are sorry, if you are able to evade them, you uh, you get access to the machine and nobody will know.
That's
So
the point. That's definitely the point.
you think that your infrastructure is secure because EDR will not report any issue, but it's not reporting issues because it's not working. Or yes, it's working, but not in the right way.
Yeah, this is a sort of paradox. Like, who is monitoring whether your security software is being compromised, right?
Yeah,
Because that's not a topic that we really talk about so often
no,
in the field in general. And I don't know, I think there are multiple reasons behind this. First, it's a difficult topic, right? There's no, like, I don't think there's an answer to that. Of course, I think like any software vendor, even the security vendors are trying their best to make their software secure,
Hmm.
of course. And that's just we of course take that for granted. The point is that we also know that no software is 100% secure, and no code can be um,
Bug
you
free.
know
Or
exactly, we can be sure that no one can compromise that piece of thing.
yeah.
um, and so this is actually a little more my like my field, right? I do not work directly with the EDRs, but I work in detection and response, so
Mhm.
I know a little about this. And I know that companies out there today are relying on these softwares. Sorry for that. And on two levels actually, right? We were used with the antiviruses maybe that they just by default blocked the malicious software. So maybe 20 years ago you will say, okay, you install the antiviruses and you are secure because it does
Yeah.
everything. It blocks the malicious ping, from even starting to compromise your host. It's not like that anymore. EDRs are definitely a little, even more than a little, um, uh, more complex,
Hmm.
uh, and they, you know, you can use them both to detect, so to be alerted that something is messing around with your network. So you have your security team using the dashboard to look at alerts and see if someone is, triggering any alerts.
Hmm.
And you can use them of course also to block the compromise on the client that is being monitored. uh, the point is that we mentioned in the last news, let's say a way to evade this. So if you have access on hardware level, you can technically compromise a machine without even touching the operating system and the EDR that is installed on the operating system.
Hmm.
The news that we are talking about now is actually approaching this on a different way. Um, I thought, actually we thought this news was the most important one, because recently you hear so often in the industry about methods and techniques to evade EDRs. I feel like it's the coolest thing like a researcher can do right now. If they can evade the new security software, they are the coolest one. But like again, my feeling was till now that most of the time was something for ethical hackers and security researchers. Nothing that we did see so often by malicious actors, right?
Hmm.
They can evade the controls in other ways as well, but uh, you know, take the effort to actually disable the agent. It can be noisy by itself, right? Because you have to run commands, you have to get access to the host and disable the agent and so on. But apparently today is a little more simple, because basically what the news say is that again on a forum, on a forum for malicious actors, they started selling software that automatically disable, I think, most of the uh, antiviruses and EDRs out there. Like you just buy the software. I don't think it's that expensive actually. I think it's more than $1,000.
In this article, they talk about mm, 3,000 for the 3,000 for the normal price, one and a half for the first five, if I remember well.
Okay, this our discounted price for
Yeah,
the,
yeah, discount for the early users or early
yeah.
adopters.
um, and I think someone. So let's say that this is just like a statement. Someone is writing on a forum. They say, okay, I wrote a software. It can disable anything. okay, and you can trust him or not. But they also shared like a demo, like a demonstration video, right, where they
Hmm.
show how it works, actually disabling one of those softwares. And someone else, I think, is also commenting this thing, saying they tried it and that actually it works.
Yeah.
Uh, like someone outside the forum. So
Hmm.
it seems it's a thing that, like, it's really working. And again, the biggest like my biggest concern here is providing tools for people who do not have the skills to do this on their own. But once the tool is out there, once the first one will buy the tool, and the first one will maybe publish the tool somewhere else, this becomes something that anyone can do. You
Yeah.
don't have to be the most cool researcher on Black Hat to
Yeah.
do this.
Yeah.
Even me, that I don't know anything about this, I can technically gather this kind of tool, and just embed it in some malware, or just use it before, I don't know, the ransomware or something, and block the EDR. So it's crazy, and it's scary, you know.
Yeah. 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 And I was thinking also too, because I'm referring to what you're saying. Who would be interested in using this kind of to buy now this kind of software? So which kind of market should it have? I see the two. So the business making EDRs and antiviruses to study if they can block it somehow. But then who else? Because it's huge. I mean, you will not. It's not like a ransomware that you buy as a service, quoted, and you make money out of it quite easily.
Well,
This is
well,
big.
again, it's I think we mentioned this before. It's complex, right? So today, if we think like a ransomware attack, there are so many actors behind one single attack. Like, you have the people who maybe provide the initial access. They maybe find the compromised credentials, and they stop there. They just take those credentials and sell them
Hmm.
somewhere. You have the people who, as you said, build the ransomware as a service. They build the software, and that's it. They stop there. They sell the software, and someone buys the software, or just the access to dashboard that you just click on that, and does pretty much everything.
Yeah.
And you can technically do the same thing. You buy the credentials, you buy the ransomware, and then you buy even the plug-in to to evade
To
the
evade
EDR,
EDR.
because
Yeah.
that's the point. For what at least I can see today, you know stuff like ransomware is the worst thing, like a company is facing today, for multiple reasons. And EDRs are one of those, one of the best tools you have today to prevent this, or to detect about that, and block it
Hmm.
in
Hmm.
time. If you can evade that, many of the companies out there that rely on that thing, maybe they have something else, right? That's not the point of discussion today, but
Could
definitely
be.
EDR
Yeah.
is it's a big piece of the security infrastructure
Okay.
in
Yeah.
many companies. So if you evade that, and again, we also have all the discussion about, it's not easy to update all those software, and then the company has to deploy the new patch in all the agents. We are talking about tens of hundreds, or
Yeah.
maybe
Hundreds
thousands
of.
of machines with agents. It's a mess. It's really a
Yeah.
mess,
Yeah.
believe me. um, when you have something like this, and even if the vendors update the software, release a new patch, the attackers will update their software to exploit the new vulnerability they found, or just find a new way to disable the EDR. The, I don't know. I'm not into exploitation that much, but I think most of the time it's about getting the right level of privileges so you can actually just stop the process. It's still a software running on
Yeah.
the on the
O-
machine,
o-
no?
Over the operating system, yes. On top of the operating system, yes.
So that's the point. I think actually a very interesting thing that is specified on the news is that uh, the like the provider of this tool right here also says something like, if you want, I can build like
Yeah.
another piece of
Uh,
code that will re-enable the EDR after you did what you want to do.
this one. So $300 for one build for a specific antivirus, EDR,
Okay.
XDR. This one you're referring to, or
No,
something different?
the
Ah,
next phrase. If you want me add
okay, okay.
downloader.
A downloader. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes, yes. That's
It's always like about the not being detected, right? So the
yes.
point is that if you disable, so I'm the attacker. I find a way to get the initial access, so the first foothold in a company network. Then I want to do stuff inside the network, because it's not just about getting in; it's about messing around
Hmm.
and encrypting stuff and exfiltrating data and so on and so forth. And so I compromise, let's say, a first machine. I then run this tool to disable the EDR or any other security software.
Hmm.
I do my stuff, like I collect the data I want to exfiltrate. I don't know, change the software in it so that the next time the user will click on it, will do, I don't know, will make it explode or something.
Yeah.
Um, and then, just because I don't want the security team to know about what I did, I just re-enable the EDR, because it's live monitoring, right? But if I do something while the EDR is not monitoring, you know, uh, no one will notice about this,
Will not. Yeah.
unless you really look into, okay, this agent was offline for, I don't know, 15 minutes during the night or something. But I don't think that's currently a measure that many companies are doing.
No, I don't think. Even because maybe it's difficult to monitor, or it's not something that you can trust as a monitor parameter. I don't know. Maybe yes, but maybe not. And even I don't know. Depending on the company creating the EDR and the EDR consoles, maybe they have something already embedded. If they didn't, maybe they should think about it. So if the connection, it's like for monitoring systems, you can
Hmm.
put a system in maintenance, and this means that you will not receive alerts on that system. They maybe should consider something similar, that if the system is not in maintenance, the agent should always communicate, and always means at least every minute. Don't know how
I
many
don't know. I
minutes,
don't know.
because then the thresholds there change based on the machine and everything you have.
It's
And
tough. It's really tough.
yeah, yeah, it's difficult, because then again, you buy a software solution because you don't want to build too much on your own, and it's a really complex thing to build by your own.
Absolutely.
But then you need to create something around, to be sure that this works well.
Yeah, and still, I think that's really too difficult. You can have network issues, so the agent is not communicating for other problems outside the machine.
Hmm.
Uh, I don't think it's something really reliable in most scenarios.
Hmm.
Maybe in a very small environment, but I don't think that very small environments actually buy this stuff,
No, no,
because it's
exactly.
it's expensive, of course.
Yeah,
Uh, so I don't know how reliable could that be, even if you build something around, or even if the vendors, maybe they are already doing it. I don't know. Maybe they have a feature in the dashboard telling you,
Yeah.
alert, this host was not reachable for some time maybe, but still it's not always a thing. Like imagine you have again 500,000 machines with an agent
Yeah.
installed in it, and so many, a so complex network, and you have daily so many hosts that just shut down, and problems, and migrations, and whatever. And you have to think about if any of those machines that lost connection for some minutes were due to a compromise.
Hmm.
I don't know, that I think that's too much, but
Yeah.
I don't have like an alternative to that for this kind of stuff.
I think you need to mix technologies to to be sure that so if you are looking at a single console and a portion of your network will drop some suddenly, you need to check why it dropped. It's a power outage, it's a
Mhm.
massive attack, it's a DDoS, it's so you need to have multiple ways to discover what's going on in your network. Eh,
Yeah, that's so
EDR,
that
so as usual, not only a single piece can ensure that you are safe.
yeah, that's similar to I think that's called the defense in depth concept,
Yeah,
where
yeah,
you have multiple layers, one on top of it, even looking at possibly the same stuff, right? But that's done because if any of those layers is not working for any reason, because they are evaded by the attacker, or they have an outage, or they something, you can rely on multiple layers. But
yeah,
usually, I I'm I'm not sure, but that concept is usually introduced when you talk about prevention, right?
yes,
You have the firewall, and you have I don't know, the proxy, and you have a lot of things that prevent the attacker to get in. But probably you're right that we should discuss this about even about detection, like multiple pieces, multiple blocks that are monitoring the same stuff, possibly from multiple perspectives,
yeah.
so that if one of those again will be evaded, will be shut down, or anything, you have
Or
still
as a
another.
false positive, or even only a false positive can be.
Yeah, no, that's I agree with you. Again, it's not simple because you have to
No.
build multiple stuff or buy multiple stuff, so you need the money, you need the budget, and you need the
Yeah.
time and the people to look at those dashboards, because you can buy a lot of stuff, and if you have just like a single guy to have a look at the 10 different dashboards, you can buy all the
You know,
TVs you want. But
yes, but
uh,
you need to buy eyes also to this guy to look at all the TVs because otherwise it doesn't work. But yeah, I mean, this is
yeah,
something. But think about also to companies where the infrastructure is exposed. So the core business is exposing the infrastructure. This
mhm,
change completely the concept. So a web hoster or a
mhm.
provider, this is quite different. So yes, but going back to the article,
Yeah.
because this is something that was why the EDR evasion of this guy took so much relevance, because they started discussing about it, because there are other EDR evasions um,
Tools.
tools. Yes, thanks. But this guy is testifying that it works on Windows 7 and Windows 2008 also. So it should cover most of so all the Windows machines to use today, so that
Mhm.
can be connected to internet today. We know that there are some XP machines still out there, but we will not talk about this.
Yeah, again, for people who do not work in this field or in general, uh, first of all, of course, Windows is the most common operating system out there. Actually, not just the not the most common, probably I don't know, 90%, 80% of the systems out there are running on top of Windows. You can be glad for it or not. It depends on what are your beliefs. But anyway, the point is that you know both if you talk about legitimate software and malicious software, you want them to run anywhere. So you can have one single tool to run everything or compromise everything. And apparently the people on this forum mentioned that there was another EDR killer. Actually, EDR killer, that's quite a nice marketing thing
Yeah,
tool. Anyway, uh, so there was another EDR killer provided by someone else, but that was not running on some specific versions of Windows, as you mentioned. But this apparently works anywhere, right? And I think that they are mentioning specifically Windows 7, Windows 2008, because probably they are still one of the most common versions out there, right? You're right.
yeah,
Maybe there's still Windows XP or Server 2003 out there, but I would say that they are not that common anymore. But 2010, like Windows 10, definitely, it's everywhere. Uh,
yeah, yeah,
it's
sure,
definitely everywhere.
sure,
So,
sure.
so it's
Well,
important for these tools to run on everything.
then the little digression: if you have Windows XP on your infrastructure, you have bigger issues somewhere
Yeah,
else.
of course. But
So,
I always try to be, you know, not so strict, because I know some of the reason why
yeah, yeah,
sometimes
yeah,
you have so old systems. Right? Sometimes you cannot, like
yeah,
you
yeah,
are forced to stay with an older operating system because it's a legacy. You cannot update it. It's I don't know, multiple
yeah,
reasons, very company related. So
exactly. And business related, yes.
yeah, it's not about the guy that is running the machine most of the time.
No, 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 not
Um,
at all, for sure. Because managing Windows XP or older version of operating system, it's quite messy because you don't have the tools. Because
yeah,
management tools will work on current versions, not on old versions. So that machine you need to go and update it manually or check it manually because the tool will not work, or do custom stuff to continue working on it.
yeah, it's a
Crazy.
mess.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah,
mess.
yeah, yeah.
It's so difficult. So again, I don't yeah, I don't know how to say this, but uh, I will not say that this an easy problem. Okay,
No, no.
and apparently even malicious actors are worrying about it, right? Oh, we know there are some Windows XP out there, so we need to support them. So I don't
Yeah,
know, it makes me laugh how
yeah, a
much
lot.
they are similar. The two sides are so similar. Everyone is wondering, okay, I have to build the software that runs everywhere. Oh no, this is missing Windows 7. This is the most common one, so my clients need this to run on the Windows 7. They have customers, basically. The
Yeah,
people
yeah,
that are buying this tool are basically customer for
yeah, yeah. For an hacker or for a malicious actor, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So
But same for Windows 7 and Windows 2008. They are end of life. But
yeah, that's true.
this is a strength point for the guy who's developing the ADR evasion tool, because hey guys, I also support and works on Windows 7. Buy my software. It's fine.
And get
Yes.
marketing, right? They
Yeah,
are
yeah,
even, they don't really bother about regulation and stuff, so they can actually also compare with the competitors. Oh, our tool is better than the other one.
yeah,
Something that
yeah.
most of the time you cannot do if you are running a legitimate business, but they can. So oh well, they cannot. They just don't bother about
Yeah,
about it.
they can show off. They can
Yeah,
show off and
they can
proudly
show
show
off.
off. Yeah, 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 yeah.
So well, it's interesting, let's say like that. um it's big. I think this is a recurrent thing. Like, there's a new technique, there's a new way to um compromise businesses and everything. But the big deal is not when the security researcher, or now some people will probably shoot at me for this statement, but the big deal is not when someone go on a stage and describe the new attack. The big deal is someone build a software and make it public to do this very easily. Okay,
Mhm.
knowing about the new technique is of course very important, but the real fact is that most of the time no one is going to do anything until there's a way to exploit that issue
Easily.
easily, of
Yeah.
course, right?
No,
Because
or publicly, let's say, because sorry if I interrupt you, but it's like for normal vulnerabilities. As soon as there is a proof of concept or a way to to leverage the vulnerability, then the the rate of the issue will be will how you say it,
yeah, it
will
will
go
be
up to
much
the
higher,
sky.
right?
I mean, yes,
Yeah.
mm, it's something that change the situation a lot. So, and as easier it is, as higher to the priority should be. So
Yeah,
yes, knowing that somebody published an easy way to do it, it's big.
yeah, and I think this is just the beginning, because someone started to selling it, and of course no one is gonna spend money on this.
Yeah.
There will be people, of course, but not everyone. But the point is that the first one that will buy this, being that a malicious guy, or someone that is doing this for research, the moment that they test it, they fix it, rebuild it, maybe create a copy for proof of concept, or some company will make their copy like a, I hate this word by the way, adversary simulation thing, that you know tomorrow someone is gonna crack and distribute for free everywhere. you
Yeah.
know it's gonna be free. Now it's available under payment, but
Hmm.
tomorrow it's gonna be definitely free everywhere. I don't know, maybe already today. I just read the news, and of course
Hmm.
I didn't deep dive that much, but it's just a matter of time.
Yes, exactly. And I was reading also about the in this article about the other evasion tool that was on Sophos. Yes, Sophos is written here.
Hmm.
Uh, Somehow the companies also needs to take a position on that. And how can so uh, the question is, will they take a position?
Well,
Because
they definitely will.
publicly,
I don't know,
uh,
but I know that how the stuff work. Maybe not publicly, but all of the customer are gonna write to the
the
company to
supporter.
say what the fuck is this, right? And
Yes.
they're gonna have to respond not to everyone, but to the customers if they want to retain the customers. So they will
Yeah.
take a position, and then they will definitely update the software if they can address this some way, because I'm not sure that they actually can, because it's gonna depend. It's not about that the software is always vulnerable of or there's any problem. I don't know how this works, but if I'm just thinking out loud, if I exploit a vulnerability of the operating system, or in any other way I get access, like root access, right,
Yeah.
or local administrator access, again I can just disable the uh, the software most of the time, not every time, but there are multiple ways I think you can do this, and it's just not always about the software itself.
Mhm.
So the point is that the vendors are gonna fix, if they can fix this, justify why there's something like that, out there, and even try to explain that sometimes it's not always about them. It's about there are multiple ways, something like that can be done, and maybe for some of them there's nothing we can do as a vendor, right?
Yeah.
So we are not like pointing like the finger to the vendors. It's not about that. They should definitely do something if they can, but it's just a thing that from now on we have to consider.
Yeah, I agree. Agree. And you can the only thing is that you pay for something that uh, claims to do his job, and as soon as something stop this job to be done correctly, then you complain with the vendor and say, "Hey, I pay for it, but potentially it doesn't work as I uh, for what I pay. So
Yeah.
please fix it." And it's the same. Like, why should I pay a license when there is the same tool without the license? Just because you can then knock on the door and say, "Guys, I need your support somehow, so fix it."
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be difficult days for
Mm,
for
yeah.
companies in the sector.
Yeah, security researchers inside EDR and antivirus companies will have something to
We-
face.
We're gonna
Some new
they're gonna
challenges.
buy this tool, I think.
Yeah, I think that somebody will spend this money. Will
Yeah.
put in a new voice in the budget for this tool.
Potentially, like today, I'm seeing uh, more researchers buying this than actually malicious actors because
Of
it's
course, of
it's a big
course.
deal.
Yeah, 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 yeah. It is
Okay,
for sure.
Fabio, I don't know what do you think, but we discussed about this for quite a while.
Hmm.
There's a lot to say more, but I think that's already enough
Yeah,
from our side and about
yes,
this news, because the point of this format is actually to talk about as many things and facts as possible. So I would say this is a wrap. What do you think?
yep, yep. Why not?
Great, that's great. And again, I will say this to you also, on private later. But thank you so much for just having this chat with me today. Um, and
Man, as I said, it's not you don't have to thank me, and it's a pleasure to be here, and I find that this is a good way to share information and have nice chats with among each others to
Absolutely,
about security, but not only security, because as you see, we touch many points.
so many actually, and
Yeah,
that's cool, right? It's again, this is really the moment that uh, we take to have a chat, learn something, because you definitely learn something when you discuss with
yeah,
someone else, having different background and having different skills, and tomorrow maybe also discussing with our followers, commenting on the chat, hopefully, and it's just so helpful, you know uh, for me first, right? And I hope also for you, Fabio, or whoever is gonna be, on your place in the
yeah,
next episodes. And you know, we read news, something that anyone in this field should do. My
yeah,
my very personal, suggestion. We have a discussion between even different industries. So we don't work on the same company in the same but that's already again something that enriches you, I
yeah,
think. And yeah, it's just so useful from my perspective.
yeah, yeah. It is definitely it is.
Is maybe on YouTube later. And yeah, I think
Mm,
that's really a wrap.
you maybe dropped just when you were saying it. Just remember to everybody that this will be on YouTube, maybe on Spotify. We will
Yes,
put some links. We will for sure also add the links of the articles so that everybody can go and deepen the things. Comment if they want to comment. Reach out to us to because personally I'm free, and if you want to tell me that we said something wrong, or to explain something better to me more than open.
Absolutely,
I will
absolutely.
thank you a
Please.
lot. And again, you said before, but I ask you to remind that next episodes there will be someone else in my place.
Yeah, yeah. No, again, not because we don't like Fabio, right? Yeah, it's just that all of us are busy, and I'm trying to collect as many people as possible that wants to jump in this project and have just a chat with me. So you will see someone else, and we will see also Fabio, at some point when he will be available. So even if you want, directly reach out to me if you want to jump in the project. I'm looking forward to talk with anybody that can give me some new information. And believe me, anyone can give me some new information, because I don't know nothing. So please, support this project, just following us, having a discussion with us, explaining us something that we don't know, as Fabio said. So that's the biggest support you can give us
Yeah,
on our jump on the call with us.
cool.
Great. I
So,
think that's
Giorgio,
all. So
thanks a lot.
see you on the next episode. Thank you, Fabio.
Thanks.
And yeah, bye everyone.